My dear son, my dear daughter, I am Saint Michael the Archangel, and at this moment I need to speak directly to your heart. What I am about to reveal may sound impossible, but your soul already senses that something is wrong. For weeks you have been feeling a strange pressure, as if someone is watching your every move, even when you are alone. This feeling is not paranoia. It is your spirit trying to warn you about a silent invasion that is happening in your life. Someone you know, someone you trusted, has gained secret access to your phone. I am not just talking about distant hackers or unknown criminals. I'm talking about someone who has been close to you, who knows your habits, your fears, your dreams. This person has created a mirror copy of your device without you noticing. Every message you send, every photo you take, every conversation you have, everything is being monitored in real time. You may think this is impossible, but your heart already knows the truth. Remember those moments when your phone did strange things? The screen turned on by itself, apps opened without you touching them, the battery drained quickly for no apparent reason. These weren't technical glitches. They were signs that someone was navigating your digital life as if it were their own home. This person isn't a tech expert, but they've found ways to circumvent your privacy through methods that combine basic technical knowledge with emotional manipulation. They know exactly when you're vulnerable, when you're happy, when you're sad. They use this information not to help you, but to control you from afar, influencing your decisions before you even realize you're being manipulated. The most disturbing thing is that this invasion is not just digital, it's spiritual. This person is draining your vital energy, causing that constant feeling of tiredness that you can't explain. Your dreams have been confusing, your emotions unstable, your decisions foggy. This is because your aura is being interfered with by someone who should be protecting your peace, not violating it. Write in the comments, "My energy is sacred and protected by the light of angels." This will create an initial shield while we reveal more details about this situation. Over the past few months, you may have noticed strange coincidences. People commenting on things you've only thought about, offers arriving just as you were researching something, conversations being interrupted at the most important moment. None of this was chance. Someone was anticipating your moves because they had privileged access to your most intimate intentions. This person knows your passwords not because they discovered them, but because they watched you type them. They know your favorite places because they tracked your movements. They know who you talk to because they read your private messages. The most serious thing is that they have begun to use this information to insert themselves into your life in a calculated way, showing up in the right places, saying the right words, creating a sense of closeness that is actually pure manipulation. You may be wondering why I, Saint Michael the Archangel, am revealing this now. It is because your soul cried out for protection, and the Most High sent me to sever this toxic connection before it causes irreparable damage to your destiny. This person has not only invaded your privacy, they are trying to redirect your future so that you remain dependent on their energy. What saddens me most is seeing how you have been questioning yourself lately, doubting your own intuition. When your heart told you one thing, but circumstances seemed to say another, you chose to ignore your inner voice. This happened because this person was creating artificial situations to confuse your spiritual discernment. Right now, as you hear these words, that person may be watching your reactions through the clone device. But fear not. My presence here has already begun to interfere with their signal. Guardian angels are forming a protective barrier around your aura, and very soon this parasitic connection will be severed once and for all. The person who invaded your digital space is not a stranger. It is someone who has been in your home, who has eaten at your table, who has earned your trust. It could be an ex-partner who has not accepted the end of the relationship, a family member who feels threatened by your growth, or even a friend who has developed obsessive feelings for you. What they all have in common is that they had access to your personal life at some point. This invasion started subtly. Maybe they asked to use your phone just for a minute to make an urgent call, or they offered to help you fix a technical problem you were having. In that moment of vulnerability, they installed an invisible app or changed settings you didn't even know existed. It was a planned act, not an impulse. The most painful part is realizing that while you were living your life normally, trusting the people around you, someone was building a complete file on your habits, fears, desires, and weaknesses. They know what time you wake up, when you go to sleep, which apps you use the most, who you talk to the most. This information has become psychological weapons in the hands of someone who should love you, not control you. Write in the comments, "I am protected by invisible forces that work in my favor." This statement will create an energetic shield that will begin to block this person's negative influence. Lately, you may have felt a strange sense of being constantly judged. Even when you were alone, there was tension in the air, as if invisible eyes were analyzing your every move. This was because your energy was being sucked from a distance. This person feeds emotionally on what they discover about you, creating an unhealthy, energetic dependency. What they didn't expect was for you to start awakening spiritually. Your personal growth scared them because it meant you were becoming independent of their opinion and approval. That's why they intensified their monitoring, not out of love, but out of fear of losing control over your life. And if this message is touching your heart in any way, please consider supporting this channel by clicking "Thank you." This gesture strengthens our mission to bring light to more people who are going through the same situation as you. This person knows your emotional cycles because they have observed them for so long. They know when you are most vulnerable and take advantage of those moments to show up with loving messages or offers of help. What seems like care is actually calculated manipulation. They want you to feel dependent on their presence, even if it is a toxic presence. Your phone has become a bridge between real life and this person's spiritual world. Through it, they can influence your dreams, cause unexplained anxiety, and even interfere with your relationships. You may have noticed how important conversations have been interrupted by strange calls, or how certain important people have started to drift away for no apparent reason. The most disturbing thing is that this person has started to imitate the way you express yourself. They have analyzed your writing style, your favorite expressions, and the tone of your voice recorded in audio files. With this information, they can impersonate you in situations that suit them, creating misunderstandings and unnecessary conflicts in your social life. But today, this ends. The angels have shown me exactly where the security flaw is that allows this invasion. It's not just a technical issue, it's an energy portal that needs to be closed on both the physical and spiritual planes. Every word of this message is creating interference in their connection, weakening the signal that allows this intrusion. Write in the comments, "The presence of angels surrounds me and keeps me safe in all ways." This will amplify the heavenly protection that is forming around you right now. You are not crazy for sensing that something was wrong. Your intuition was trying to protect you, but you were taught to doubt your own feelings. This person benefited from your spiritual insecurity, because a heart that does not trust itself is easier to manipulate. The reason I am revealing all of this now is because you are about to enter a very important phase of your life. There are wonderful opportunities, relationships, and experiences waiting for you, but this energetic interference was preventing these blessings from reaching you. It was necessary to clear this channel so that the light could flow freely. If you want to be part of our YouTube family, subscribe to the channel now. It's not just a button, it's a statement that you choose to receive messages of light instead of living in the darkness of manipulation. And then tell me in the comments, did you already suspect that someone was invading your privacy? Did your intuition already warn you about this? The technology this person uses is not as sophisticated as it seems, but it is effective because it combines basic knowledge with physical access to your device. They didn't need to be professional hackers. All they had to do was take advantage of a moment of distraction to install a spy app or change your sync settings. The cruelest part is that they used your trust as their password. You may be wondering how you didn't notice it before. The answer is simple. They are experts at normalizing the abnormal. Every strange behavior on your phone was justified as normal technical problems. Every suspicious coincidence was presented as just one of those things. Gradually, you were conditioned to ignore the signals your own instincts were sending you. This person studied your communication patterns with the dedication of a scientist. They know which emojis you prefer, how you react when you're happy or sad, what topics spark your passions. They use this intimate knowledge not to connect with you genuinely, but to predict and control your emotional reactions. Write in the comments, "I am a pure channel of divine love and light." This statement will begin to purify your energy of any manipulative influence. What saddens me most is seeing how this invasion has affected your self-confidence. You have begun to doubt your own perceptions, question your feelings, and minimize your intuitions. This happens because when someone knows your innermost thoughts without your permission, it creates an unbalanced power dynamic that shakes your emotional security. In recent months, you may have noticed that certain important people in your life have started acting differently toward you. Conversations that used to flow naturally have become tense, and relationships that were close have cooled off for no apparent reason. This was no coincidence. This person was using the stolen information to sow discord between you and those who truly love you. Their strategy is cruel but effective. Isolate you emotionally so that you become more dependent on the attention they offer. The less genuine support you receive from others, the more valuable their false interest seems. It's a form of emotional blackmail disguised as care. This person didn't just invade your digital privacy, they invaded your peace of mind. Those moments when you felt inexplicable anxiety, sadness for no reason, irritation you couldn't identify, were reflections of the energetic interference you were experiencing. Your aura was being contaminated by a presence that shouldn't be there. The darkest aspect of this situation is that they have begun to feel like they own your story. They believe they have the right to know everything about you, to comment on your choices, to interfere with your plans. This feeling of ownership over another person is deeply unhealthy and needs to be stopped immediately. Write in the comments, "My steps are guided by footprints of light left by angels." This will align your path with the divine plan and remove external interference. But there is one thing this person cannot access, no matter how hard they try: your divine essence. They can see your messages, listen to your conversations, track your movements, but they cannot touch the light that exists within you. It is this light that bothers them so much, because it exposes the darkness of their intentions. You may have noticed how different you feel when you're away from your phone for a few hours. An inexplicable lightness, a mental clarity that you can't identify where it comes from. This is because, even temporarily, you disconnect from this person's energetic influence. It's your soul breathing freely. This person's obsession with you is not love. It is possessiveness. True love respects boundaries, honors privacy, and celebrates independence. What they feel is an unhealthy need for control that masquerades as care. They want to know every detail of your life, not to understand you better, but to manipulate you more effectively. All this time, you have tried to rationalize behaviors that your heart knew were wrong. When they came up with information they shouldn't have had, you made up logical explanations. When they demonstrated intimate knowledge of your life that you hadn't shared, you attributed it to their intuition. But intuition doesn't work that way. Intuition does not violate privacy. What has been revealed to me by the angels is that this situation is coming to a natural end. This person's energy is running out because it is not sustained by genuine love, but by obsession. And obsession, no matter how intense, always consumes itself. They are beginning to feel the spiritual weight of what they have done. Your patience and refusal to retaliate have created a karmic protection around you. Each act of invasion on their part has become a spiritual debt that now needs to be paid. You don't need to seek revenge. The universe is already taking care of justice. This person has developed an emotional dependence on the information they steal from you. Like an addict who needs their next fix, they obsessively check your every move, every conversation, every photo. They can no longer live without knowing what you are doing, thinking, feeling. It is a prison they have built for themselves, and you are both the key and the unwitting jailer. The most disturbing thing is that they have started living a double life. In front of other people, they act normal, but in private, they are consumed by the need to monitor you. They spend hours analyzing your messages, interpreting your photos, trying to decipher the meaning of your every action. It is an unhealthy existence that is destroying their own mental health. You may have noticed changes in this person's behavior when they are physically close to you. A strange anxiety, comments that don't make sense, knowledge about situations you haven't shared. This is because it is impossible to maintain a normal facade when you have access to intimate information obtained through illicit means. Write in the comments, "The light that guides me is stronger than any darkness." This statement seals your courage, and dissolves any attempt at manipulation. The reason your sleep has been restless is not just everyday stress, it's energetic interference. This person accesses your phone mainly in the early hours of the morning when they know you are asleep. At this time, your psychic defenses are naturally lower, and the energetic invasion becomes more intense. Your spirit feels this violation, even when your conscious mind does not perceive it. During sleep, our soul connects with higher planes to receive guidance and healing. But this person's energetic presence was interfering with this natural process, causing confusing dreams, nightmares for no apparent reason, or even unexplained insomnia. It was as if someone was screaming when you needed silence the most. And if this message is touching your heart, consider supporting this channel with a gesture of light. Click "Thank you." This kindness helps keep alive this mission of delivering words that heal and awaken. This person began to imitate not only your way of communicating, but also your choices, tastes, and even your lifestyle. They observed you so intensely that they began to mirror aspects of your personality in an unhealthy attempt to become indispensable in your life. It's as if they were trying to become their version of you. The cruelest aspect of this situation is that they used information obtained through invasion to insert themselves casually into your life. They showed up at places they knew you would frequent, mentioned topics they knew you were interested in, and offered solutions to problems you hadn't even verbalized yet. What seemed like harmony was actually espionage. You must have wondered several times about certain coincidences that seemed too good to be true. A person showing up at the right time, with the right words, offering exactly what you needed. But genuine coincidences bring lightness. Manipulation disguised as coincidence always leaves a weight on your heart. Write in the comments, "I am protected by invisible forces working in my favor." This opens the way for angels to work even more powerfully in your life. The energy you felt being drained was not your imagination. When someone accesses our personal information without permission, an unauthorized energetic connection is created. It's as if they have installed an invisible straw in your aura, sucking your vitality from a distance. That's why you felt constantly tired for no apparent physical reason. This person has developed a complete psychological profile of you based on the digital invasion. They know which words hurt you, which compliments win you over, which fears paralyze you, which dreams motivate you. Armed with this intimate knowledge, they can push the right emotional buttons to provoke the reactions they desire. What they didn't expect is that all this negative energy directed at you would become a karmic mirror. Every obsessive thought, every digital invasion, every emotional manipulation came back multiplied into their lives. They began to experience inexplicable anxiety, relationship problems, professional difficulties, all reflections of the toxic energy they were sending out. You may have noticed that certain important decisions in your life have been inexplicably delayed or complicated. Opportunities that seemed certain suddenly became confusing. Promising relationships cooled off for no reason. Projects that should have flowed smoothly encountered unexpected obstacles. This was because there was energetic interference sabotaging your natural line of destiny. The technology was only the means. The real problem is the obsessive energy that this person directed at you. Even if they could access every byte of information on your phone, they would never be able to access what really matters: your inner light, your connection to the divine, your capacity to love genuinely. Throughout this period, you kept your dignity intact. You did not retaliate in kind. You did not stoop to the level of the invasion you were suffering. You did not allow the discovery of this betrayal to turn your heart to stone. This nobility of spirit created a special protection around you. It is impossible to genuinely destroy someone who refuses to destroy others. What impresses the angels most is your ability to maintain the purity of your heart, even in the face of this betrayal. Any ordinary person would have been filled with hatred, a desire for revenge and deep bitterness. But you chose a different path, the path of spiritual elevation. And that choice became your greatest protection against all the energetic attacks you suffered. This person completely underestimated the power of your inner light. They believed that by knowing your secrets, accessing your private conversations, and mapping your intimate habits, they could have total control over you. They did not understand that there is a dimension of your existence that remains untouchable, no matter how much technology they use or how much information they steal. The invasion you suffered went far beyond the digital realm. It was an attack on your spiritual sovereignty. They tried to reduce you to data, information, predictable patterns, but you are so much more than that. You are an evolving soul, a divine spark incarnate, a being of light that cannot be captured by any earthly technology. Over the past few months, while this person consumed themselves with the obsession of monitoring you, you grew spiritually without realizing it. Every challenge faced, every intuition ignored but later confirmed, every moment of peace found despite adverse circumstances, all contributed to strengthening your connection to the sacred. Write in the comments, "My soul shines with divine light that nothing can extinguish." By doing so, you activate an inner flame that burns away any negativity around you. Now I can reveal something that will ease your heart. This situation is coming to a natural end. This person's obsessive energy has reached a point of saturation. Like a rubber band stretched beyond its limit, it is about to snap. They can no longer sustain the intensity of constant surveillance without seriously affecting their own sanity. In the coming days, you will begin to notice clear signs that the invasive energetic connection is weakening. Your sleep will be more restful, your mind clearer, your emotions more stable. It is as if a heavy cloud that has been hanging over you for months is finally beginning to disperse. This person will try a desperate approach very soon. Feeling that they are losing their privileged access to your life, they will make up excuses to get in touch, create situations that demand your attention, or even confess part of what they have done in an attempt to maintain some kind of connection. But you will no longer be the same vulnerable person you were before. The transformation you underwent during this period of invasion was not accidental. The universe allowed you to live through this experience because you needed to develop more refined spiritual discernment, learn to trust your intuition, and strengthen your ability to detect false energies. You have become spiritually more sophisticated. Write in the comments, "The gates of heaven open to me with every breath." This establishes a direct bridge between you and the heavenly plane, allowing blessings to flow freely. What this person never understood is that true love does not need spying. When we genuinely love someone, we respect their privacy, honor their individuality, and celebrate their independence. What they felt for you was never love. It was possessiveness disguised as care, control masked as protection. You may be wondering if you should confront this person directly. My advice is, don't. Confrontations feed obsessive energy. What really works against manipulators is genuine disinterest, serene indifference, and a focus on your own growth. When you stop reacting to their provocations, they lose the emotional fuel that keeps them going. True justice in this situation will not come from your hands, but from the universe itself. Every act of invasion that this person has committed has created a karmic debt that needs to be paid. They will begin to experience in their own lives the feeling of having their privacy violated, their trust betrayed, their peace of mind disturbed. Throughout this difficult period, you have been sustained by an invisible network of angelic protection. Even when you felt most alone, spiritual guardians were working tirelessly to minimize the damage from this invasion. Many situations that could have been devastating were softened by heavenly intervention. Your patience, your refusal to seek revenge, your choice to keep your heart open despite the betrayal, all of this has deeply impressed the higher realms. You have passed a spiritual test that many would have failed. Therefore, what is coming into your life now is proportionate to the difficulty you have endured with dignity. The technology that was used against you will become obsolete very soon. Not because of technical flaws, but because the energy that fueled it, this person's unhealthy obsession, is naturally running out. It is impossible to sustain behavior that consumes so much psychic energy without genuine emotional return indefinitely. Prepare yourself for a completely new phase of your life. With this energetic interference removed, paths that were blocked will open up, people who had drifted away will return, opportunities that seemed lost will resurface. It is as if you are about to emerge from a long, dark tunnel, to find a flower-filled garden waiting on the other side. The energetic cleansing that is taking place in your life right now is profound and definitive. It is not just about removing the technological invasion. It is about restoring your complete spiritual sovereignty. Every fiber of your aura is being purified. Every unauthorized energy portal is being sealed. Every toxic connection is being cut off at the root. This person who invaded your privacy is about to face the natural consequences of their actions. The universe has precise laws regarding the violation of free will, and no one goes unpunished when they cross these sacred lines. They will begin to feel in their own lives the reflection of the invasion they promoted in yours. You may have noticed that certain people around you have started acting strangely lately. Some have distanced themselves without explanation. Others have become overly curious about your life. Some have started asking questions that don't make sense. This happened because this person was using third parties as extensions of their surveillance, either consciously or through subtle manipulation. Write in the comments, "My faith is my shield, my prayer is my sword of light." This activates your spiritual armor and makes you invincible against any evil. Now I am going to reveal something that you may not have realized yet. This invasion has affected not only you, but also the people who truly love you. Family members and true friends have felt an inexplicable change in your energy. You seemed more distant, more guarded, less spontaneous. They didn't understand why you had changed, but they felt that something was interfering with your natural essence. The energy manipulation you suffered was as subtle as it was effective. This person didn't just access your information, they used it to create an artificial reality around you. They influenced people in your social circle with information obtained through espionage, creating a web of control that extended far beyond your phone. And if you felt that this message touched your heart deeply, consider clicking "Thank you." This small gesture supports our mission to continue bringing messages of light to all who need them. But there is something this person never managed to access, no matter how hard they tried. Their moments of genuine connection with the divine, their silent prayers, their tears shed in solitude, their pleas for strength in the most difficult moments. All of this remained sacred and untouched. It is this spiritual dimension of your life that has always been your true source of power. During this challenging period, you have developed a much more refined spiritual sensitivity. You have learned to sense subtle energies, to be wary of suspicious coincidences, to genuinely value your privacy and inner peace. These are precious skills that will protect you from future manipulation. This person's obsession with you revealed more about them than it did about you. It showed a personality, incapable of mature love, dependent on control to feel secure, willing to violate sacred boundaries to satisfy unhealthy emotional needs. You became a mirror that reflected the deepest shadows of this person's soul. Write in the comments, "I blossom like a sacred rose in the garden of angels." This statement awakens your inner beauty and attracts true love into your life. In the coming days, you will begin to experience a lightness you haven't felt in a long time. Conversations will flow more naturally, decisions will become clearer, and genuine relationships will strengthen. It's as if you are recovering parts of yourself that you had lost without realizing it. This person will try to interpret your new tranquility as indifference or coldness. They cannot understand that you have simply evolved beyond their reach. Your peace is not the absence of care. It is the presence of wisdom. Your serenity is not disinterest. It is mature spiritual discernment. The phone that was once a source of anxiety will once again become a simple tool for communication. You will notice that you no longer feel that strange tension when using it. You no longer feel like you are being watched. You no longer experience that inexplicable tiredness after long periods online. The energy of the device will be completely cleansed. The truth about this situation may have been shocking, but it was necessary. You needed to consciously know what your soul already intuitively understood. Only then could you make informed choices about how to protect your energy and with whom to share your life. Ignorance is not protection. Knowledge is power. This experience, as painful as it was, has prepared you for much more authentic relationships in the future. You now know how to recognize the signs of emotional manipulation. You have greater clarity about your personal boundaries, and you have developed more refined criteria for choosing whom to trust. These are disguised gifts that were born out of difficulty. The person who invaded your privacy thought they were gaining an advantage over you, but in reality, they were digging their own spiritual grave. Each violation of your peace became a lesson in growth for you, and a karmic debt for them. The universe has mysterious ways of turning attacks into opportunities for elevation. We have reached the end of this revelation, but in reality, you are at the beginning of a new phase in your life. The removal of this energetic interference has unleashed a potential that was dormant within you. Like a dam, whose floodgates have been opened, your vital energy can finally flow freely to where it needs to go. This person who tried to control your destiny through digital invasion will soon discover that they have tampered with forces beyond their understanding. Not only have they lost access to your life, but they have also activated a cosmic justice that will unfold in ways you cannot even imagine. The universe does not allow luminous souls to be attacked with impunity. You may be wondering if you should forgive this person. My advice is forgive for your own sake, but don't confuse forgiveness with tolerating abusive behavior. Forgiving is releasing the poison of resentment from your heart. It is not necessarily re-establishing trust or closeness with those who have betrayed you. Write in the comments, "I am a sacred temple where only thoughts of light dwell." This purifies your mind of any shadows and instills thoughts of power and hope. In the coming months, you will see how your life begins to blossom in unexpected ways. True relationships will deepen, authentic opportunities will appear, and your creativity will be freed from blocks you didn't even know existed. It was as if you were trying to grow with invisible weights tied to your ankles. Now they have been removed. Technology will once again be your ally, not your source of anxiety. Your phone will bring you messages of love, not invasions of privacy. Your social networks will reflect genuine connections, not relationships based on spying. Your digital life will once again be a natural extension of your real life, not an energetic battlefield. This experience has taught you something precious that many people never learn: the difference between genuine intimacy and invasion disguised as care. Real intimacy is built on consent, mutual trust, and respect for each other's boundaries. What you experienced was a violation masquerading as closeness. Write in the comments, "With every step, angels steady the ground beneath my feet." This brings balance and confidence for everything that lies ahead. Now you understand why certain important decisions have been so difficult to make recently. There was subtle interference sabotaging your mental clarity, creating confusion where there should have been certainty, planting doubts where there should have been confidence. With this interference removed, your future choices will be much more assertive and aligned with your inner truth. The person who spied on you will discover that knowing information about someone is not the same as genuinely understanding who that person is. They mapped your habits, but they didn't touch your essence. They cataloged your words, but they didn't access your wisdom. They observed your movements, but they didn't understand your journey. Your reaction to this revelation will say a lot about the level of healing you have achieved. If you feel anger, it's natural. You've been violated. If you feel sadness, it's understandable. You've been betrayed by someone you trusted. But if, along with these feelings, you also feel a strange sense of relief and clarity, it is because you finally understand what your soul has been trying to tell you for so long. The angelic protection that has been established around you during this message is not temporary. It is permanent. You now carry a spiritual shield that will alert you immediately when manipulative energies try to approach you. Your psychic sensitivity has been calibrated to detect falsehood with much greater accuracy. Write in the comments, "I am at peace. I am in the light. I am protected." Let this vibration echo in your soul, for it marks the end of a cycle of vulnerability and the beginning of an era of spiritual discernment. Prepare for positive changes that will begin to manifest very quickly. Genuine people will be drawn into your life. Opportunities aligned with your higher purpose will appear, and your intuition will become even clearer and more reliable. It is as if you are tuning into a completely new frequency of existence. What brings me the most joy as Saint Michael the Archangel is seeing how you have maintained your integrity throughout this challenging period. You could have become bitter, distrustful, closed off to love, but you chose the path of spiritual elevation, and that choice has attracted divine protection that will last forever. This person who tried to steal your peace will discover that you are unbeatable. They can access your messages, but not your wisdom. They can map your movements, but not your spiritual journey. They can observe your actions, but not understand your essence. You remain a sacred mystery that no earthly technology can completely decipher. Now you walk free, protected, aware. The invasion is over, but the evolution continues. You are no longer the same person you were when this situation began. You are stronger, wiser, more connected to your own inner light. If this message touched your heart, and you want to be part of this spiritual family, subscribe to the channel. It's not just a button. It's a commitment to choose light over darkness, truth over manipulation, growth over stagnation. And in the comments, share your story. Have you been through something similar? How did your intuition try to warn you? What have you learned about spiritual discernment? Your experience can illuminate the path of others who are going through similar situations. May the peace of the angels be with you always.